Think of a semi-automatic pistol that produces more energy than a .357 Magnum. Semi-automatic. The 10 millimeter, slightly more powerful than a .357 Magnum with today's modern ammunition. We'll talk about the ammunition. We'll talk about a lot of the 10 millimeter options that are out there for you. If you've been following this channel, you know by far my favorite round is the 10 millimeter. I'll talk about my carry system a little bit, that shoulder holster in the background. Isn't that a great sight? Let's focus in on this ammo right here. What is it with us? Why do we like looking at a bucket full of ammo? There's 1,000 rounds of Georgia Arms, full metal jacket, 180 grains. I must have 7 or 8 of those buckets. Love the 10 millimeter round. Let's talk about the most powerful Glock made and an incredible Magnum Force semi-automatic. Welcome to weaponseducation.com. There's a lot of firepower on that table right there. It's a beautiful sight. Let's talk about the 10 millimeter, then we'll talk about some of the guns on the table. I tell you, it was developed by Jeff Cooper. I know a lot of you love to hear that name. If you don't know who Jeff Cooper is, Google it. You need to know who he is. He's a pioneer for us gun enthusiasts. And back in 1983, he developed the 10 millimeter for the Bren 10 manufacturer. And they borrowed a base design from the CZ company and used the CZ75 as their base design to make the Bren 10. As time went on in the 80s, what happened was in 1986, the FBI got involved in a huge shootout. I did a video on the Miami shootout. I'd like to do a revamped video of that. But they got in this massive shootout where 2 guys, mostly one guy, his name was Platt, with an AR, took out a bunch of FBI agents, and it was a totally bloody mess, and the FBI did a great job. They did their best, but they were way underarmed. So they realized they need more power. They went to Smith & Wesson and said, what's the story with this Colt Delta Elite right there? Colt was manufacturing that Colt 10 millimeter at the time, and they still do. You can buy that 1911 10 millimeter today, right now. What an incredible semi-automatic and 10 millimeter. Back to the story. What happened was the FBI adopted the 10 millimeter because they needed a more powerful round against the bad guys in shootouts. But the recoil was just too much for a lot of the agents. I don't get that. But we're talking about a round, like I said, right there with a .357 Magnum out of a semi-automatic. When I get to that Glock 20 and you realize you got 15 plus 1 in a Glock, to me that is by far my favorite Glock. All right, now let's talk about the fact that you've got different models to choose from. Let's zoom in on the Glock 20 right there. And Glock makes 2 10 millimeters. Thank you, Glock. This has been my nightstand gun for about the last 2 weeks now, and I like it with the light on it for at night. It's 15 plus 1. Now, if you want to compare a Glock 20 10 millimeter to a Glock 29, we can do that real quick right now. Here's 2 29s. This one fitted with the standard magazine, which is 10 plus 1, and I think after owning all these Glocks that you should just, if you're going to get a 29, the smaller version of the 10 millimeter Glock, stick with the standard magazine. You can do what I did with this 29 here on the right and put a Glock 20 magazine in it with an extension. So now you got 15 plus 1 and that small little 29. That extension, by the way, is made by A&G grips. A&G. And like if you want to put a Glock 21 magazine and a Glock 30, 45 cal, you can do so, but you need that extension piece. They're only like $12. But after owning the Glocks and carrying them and shooting them so much, I came to the conclusion that if you're going to get the 10 millimeter Glock, I think you might as well have the solid potential of, not potential, but the solid grip, complete package all in one without the extension. If you want the extra rounds, if you really want the extra rounds, go with the Glock 20. If you want 10+1 and 10 millimeter, go with that 29 right there. And I would just, putting that extension on the 29, you can do it, but it's a little wiggly on the bottom. I'm just saying, for like $550, $600 for a Glock, boy, you have one massive, powerful semi-automatic, the most powerful Glock. The reason why I have that Desert Eagle in the background, that's a 50 AE. The reason why I have it there is to say, you don't have to go to Magnum Research, which is owned by Carr, by the way. You don't have to go to Magnum Research to get a high-powered semi-automatic to one of these exotic companies and pay like $2,200 for a gun like that. They have the 44 Magnum or the 50 AE. You don't have to do that. You can just get a 10 millimeter. Let's look at the Kimber here. This one here, oh boy, that is one beautiful Kimber 10 millimeter. Kimber does make a 10 millimeter, so you can get that. And it's gorgeous because the slide doesn't shine during the day and it does not shine at night. You can also get, like I said, the Colt Delta Elite. And new recently is a Rock Island Armory. They make a 10 millimeter. And also, you can get the EAA Witness. So I know you guys are way into that EAA Witness. And every time I talk about the 10 millimeter, everyone says, well, what about the EAA Witness? Please mention it. Those are the major manufacturers I just showed you. Glock, Colt, Kimber, and now we have Rock Island, and of course the EAA Witness. I know there's others out there. Let's look at some ammo right here, and I'll show you some great ideas for personal protection ammo, starting at the bottom with double tap, 230 grain. Then moving up, you've got Winchester silver tip in case you want to take out a werewolf. I'm telling you, these things are humming. They're fast. They're powerful. They're extremely deadly. I'm going to talk about overpenetration here before we cut out. Then you have Hornady, of course, and you have Corbon. And I'll tell you right now, this Underwood ammo, boy, oh boy, that is some hot stuff. Talk about having a Magnum round in your semi-automatic. You're going to blow away a 357 Magnum with that Underwood. You'll be close to a 41 Magnum in a semi-automatic. Talking about so much power, a lot of people say, well, what about over-penetration? So what I do is I'll carry the 10 millimeter and then knowing, yeah, it's real. If you shoot a bad guy, for instance, wherever you shoot him, it's a very good chance that that round's going to go through him and through another quarter mile of everything in its way, and other people and through walls, and it's just such a powerful round. It'll go through windshields, car doors like it's butter. So I carry the 10 millimeter like this in a shoulder holster. As you know, I have my own custom shoulder holster line, which is literally twice the quality of any production shoulder holster system out there. And my own logo and name is on it. I'll put the link below if you're into shoulder holsters. And please shop there. It's the same price as production, but twice the quality. So you can carry a big, powerful gun like this in a shoulder holster system with 2 spare mags. You got your gun. That's where I keep the Kimber lately. I've been carrying that Kimber 1911 in there, the government size. And you'll also want to carry a spare, smaller gun because of the potential of over-penetration. So on my hip, I've been carrying alongside with that shoulder holster either maybe a 380 in the pocket, or a 9mm, or a Car PM40, something small and compact. These new modern compact guns, a Ruger, smaller compact gun, any SIG. So my first go-to gun, thinking about overpenetration, might be the 49 or 380. But if I'm in a clear situation where I'm not worried about overpenetration, I'm going right for that 10mm. You talk about one shot, one kill. I mean, you hit someone on the shoulder, it's not to be gruesome, but it's going to take the whole shoulder off with a 10mm. We're talking about a very powerful round. And let me zoom in here on a couple of the rounds before we cut out. On the left, you've got a 40 cal, okay? And that is a shortened 10mm. In the middle, you've got the 10mm. Super powerful. And on the right, you've got that long 357 mag. I wonder what manufacturer makes that 357 mag. How old is that round with that black? Oh yeah, that's a black Talon. Pretty cool stuff. There's what the rounds look like from the 40 shortened 10mm, because the FBI finally said the 10mm is too powerful. Smith, do something for us. They shortened the 10mm, and that was the birth of the 40 caliber. There you go. There's my presentation for tonight on the 10mm. I urge everyone to have at least one 10mm. Of everything on this table, when you look at cost, I would jump on that Glock 20. I'm telling you, I would jump on that Glock 20 all day long. It's not going to fail. It's 15+1. It's extremely stable, and it shoots smooth. That one has a compensator on it, by the way, and I want to mention, no, I have no issues with flash coming out of a compensator. I have no issues. I do like the fact that it reduces recoil a little bit. It does got a big punch on this, more than a 45, much more actually. So be ready if you're going to buy a 10mm. You may want to shoot one first, because we're talking about Magnum Force. There you go, my friends. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. And Tom checking out from Weapons Education.